Hey YouTube, what's happening? It's Richard, founder of Short Term Rental University and professional real estate developer. And one of the questions I'm asked all the time, and I see people posting about it in our private Facebook group as well, is if I have limited resources, should I buy my primary residence where I will live, or should I continue to rent and then buy an investment property? And I want to share with you my thoughts. For those of you that are new to the channel, I focus specifically on short-term rentals like Airbnb because that's where I find not only the best reward, but the lowest risk, and I want to teach you how. But without further ado, let's answer that question. I firmly believe that your first purchase should be an investment property, primarily because it's going to do a lot of things to grow you. And secondly, just as a caveat in the interest of full disclosure, that's what I did and it worked really well. There's probably plenty of people who didn't do that and they have a different set of experiences, but I think that the items that I'm going to share with you will hopefully help you make your decision in a very effective way. So one of the primary reasons I think you should buy and continue to rent instead of buying your primary residence is that it allows you to expand your horizons and expand your opportunities. And what I mean by that is so often we want to buy that primary residence for the wrong reasons. And those wrong reasons include things like certainty. It's really certain to know that you own the place, and as long as you make the payments, you'll never get kicked out. And so like we in a modern society, we place a lot of societal pressure to own and that certainty around it, and that also gives us something else which is actually pretty shallow, which is significance. We feel important or we feel respected in our community, and so those are wonderful things, but that doesn't mean that you should make an investment decision based on those things alone. I'd like to offer you something that perhaps is even more exciting and more rewarding, which would be to expand your horizons into geographies that you don't live in. Not where your job is, not where your community is, not where your church is. That might be a terrible place to invest, but that's important to you, and so I want you to do that. Rent. But there's a whole world out there of investable opportunities and geographies that could generate massive outsized returns for you that you would never pick up all of your stuff and move there. So continue to rent in where you are, expand your horizons, and pick the best unique opportunity to invest your capital and make your capital work for you while you continue on your day-to-day where you choose to live. Number two, you become a business owner. You start to learn new skills. You become a landlord, and you start to get used to people like coming and going and living in your house and collecting rent and dealing with things that you wouldn't otherwise do in your own home. And so while in your own home, you're gonna do things like maintenance and repair, you may be not so concerned with the dollars and the cents of it because it's not a business, it's for you. Now you're learning skills about profit and loss and revenues and liabilities, and you're making decisions from a business perspective, and those decisions will serve you well in your current job, in your future job, in your current side gig, in your future side gigs. So you as a person will be learning and growing because you're now running a business as opposed to having a really nice family home. Number three, if you come full circle and decide, gee, real estate is really great investment, and Airbnb and short-term rentals in particular is something I want to get into, if you spend all of your capital on your primary residence, it might take you years, 5 years, 10 years to restock and gather enough capital to then purchase that initial investment property. And those 5 or 10 years and all of those lessons and all of that income, the opportunity cost of kicking the can down the road for 5 or 10 years is enormous, especially if you're middle-aged like I am. 5 or 10 years to me right now is massive. If you're young like Charles, you know, even still 5 or 10 years, he could be in a totally different place if he bought an investment property as opposed to a primary home. So just realize there's a massive learning curve and opportunity cost in the order that you do these things. You might rent a home and also buy, but the way that you do them and in the order is really important on your final outcome. Number four, I want to dispel a myth, and I'm a huge believer in owning real estate. So let's just put that as like a given. But there's a concept that if you own your home, you're doing forced savings and you're saving for your like future, and it's a really good use. And that's true if the alternative is to buy one home or rent one home. But what we're talking about is you staying in a rental property and starting an investment property. And if you do that, you're actually saving far more money and generating far more income than you would be by the principal savings of your mortgage alone. So to be clear, in both cases you're doing forced savings, but in one case, in your primary home, it's generating zero income and you're saving a little bit of money in the monthly principal payments to your mortgage. In the other case, it's generating a lot of income. You could be generating 6 figures of income and after expenses doubling your W-2 salary, and not 1 year, but 2 years and 3 years. And so we're talking about maybe tens of thousands of dollars of profit versus hundreds or thousands of dollars in your primary mortgage savings. Now, over time, they will begin to equalize, but nothing beats the amount of rental income that you can generate from a successful Airbnb cash engine, and you do that time and time again, year over year, and you compound those returns, you will be in a very different place if you go the investment property first versus the primary property first. And the fifth and final point is, while real estate is very tax advantaged here in the United States, the government wants to encourage us to buy real estate, recognize that there's a world of difference between buying your primary home and the tax advantages associated with it, meaning that you can't take off more than just the interest expense, and in some communities you can't even do that anymore, versus an investment property where all of your expenses are deductible, and if you do it properly and you have the right CPA and you're running a short-term rental business, all of those losses, by the way, can be offsetting your W-2 income, so you could be lowering your tax burden, lowering dollar for dollar your losses from your investment property due to depreciation against your ordinary income from your W-2, and that's just an absolute win, especially if you do it for many years. So I hope I've given you compelling reasons why buying an investment property is superior than buying your primary home, and in fact it's path dependent. I think the single best way to do investment properties is short-term rentals like Airbnb, and that's what this channel is focused on, teaching you how to monetize the right investment properties with the right opportunity to create cash engines to generate financial freedom for you. So I encourage you to please like the video, leave your comments below about what you agree with or have questions about, and most importantly, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel with your notifications on so that as we release new videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're alerted and you can begin to grow alongside with us. Thank you so much. I can't wait to help you grow. Thank you. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video. I just want to share with you that the HostSaver one-click website tool is now live. Like, people are on it, they're using it all the time, and we really want to encourage you to take control of your financial future by building your own brand and building your own business and getting off the dependency of the platforms. Take charge and control of your own future and develop relationships with your clients, the people that have come and stayed in your home. Tell them about discounts or specials that you have. Tell them that you expanded. Tell them anything that you want. Write blogs and start to get your own traction, right? Attract your own tribe using your own website. This is what businesses do. It's 2020. The time is now for people like me and you to build our own website and become platform agnostic. So go ahead and click in the description below to register for the HostSaver. One click and you have your own custom, absolutely gorgeous, works flawlessly website. Can't wait to see you there. Let's go, friends.